Hello and welcome back to AB in Focus. Artificial intelligence is truly the talk of the town at the moment, with it seemingly impacting every industry. And who better to join us here today than Naim Yazbeck, the General Manager of Microsoft UAE, to unpack the developments of artificial intelligence. Naim, thank you for joining me and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So I think a good place to start this conversation would perhaps be to talk about the top level of artificial intelligence, the top-down initiatives, how governments and regulators are impacting the artificial intelligence sector, and perhaps the role that Microsoft also plays there.
Yeah. Look, the reality is artificial intelligence is potentially the biggest innovation that happened since the creation of the internet. It is a technology that is going to disrupt each and every aspect of our life, of our business, and each and every industry, I would say. Governments are looking super closely into it because there's a massive opportunity. At the same time, there's some regulation frameworks that everyone is thinking of. We as a company that have led that motion of technology, we're also partnering with governments around what we call responsible AI. If you look at the region and the UAE in specific, the UAE has been taking a leadership role in terms of pushing the usage of AI. Basically, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed was one of the first leaders in the world when ChatGPT came to him and said, we want to use this. So the country is not only not afraid from leveraging that technology, actually is pushing everyone to think how can they leverage it, because it's very clear countries that are going to lead with that technology are going to be at the forefront and they will have a big advantage. Last week, we had the World Government Summit here. And interesting, AI was the key topic. And as I said, we as a company, we are brokering conversations with the private sector and the governments around the world to really think about what does responsible AI mean? Because regulating AI is going to be very much different than regulating any other previous technology. This is not regulating 3G where 4G will come in 4 years. This is trying to regulate something that version 1 is today and version 2 is next week. So we're rethinking about all of this. Regulation is mainly going to be around what guardrails you're going to put to make sure privacy, security are being respected. And I think there is lots of conversation today with governments around the world and with the UAE in that space. And I think as those conversations evolve, you're going to see frameworks coming. We have already taken some steps. The intellectual property step that we took where we're also almost going to be part of any issue related from generation of image or content that is the property of a specific person. So I think it's early days, but we're leading that conversation around responsible AI, regulated AI, but we also want to balance what does this mean versus making sure that a country or an organization or a person do not be delayed from leveraging this advanced technology.
It's interesting. I mean, I think you pointed out there already that regulating a technology like AI has unique challenges given the rapid development cycle. And you as a firm almost sit at the intersection between public sectors and private sectors as well. What is the feeling you get among both public sector and private sector players in terms of how they think of addressing that challenge of regulation?
Yeah, look, I think both the public sector and the private sector, and I would say, as usual, the private sector is going at a fast pace. But interesting enough, in some countries, including the UAE, we're seeing government at the forefront of using AI. But there is, of course, every day that discussion of what is the risk associated with that technology? How do we make sure we are tackling that risk as we design AI? Because bear in mind, the interesting thing about AI is that this is not a technology that only gets consumed. So it's not like Microsoft and OpenAI build this and countries like the UAE, they only use it. No, countries are going to build technology. So if you take the example of the Ministry of Education here in the UAE and the program around the AI tutor, that's AI tech built in the UAE that will be leveraged in UAE and maybe globally. So everyone is saying, okay, we're going to build that technology. How do you put the right guardrails? How do we make sure that privacy is respected, that people are using it in the right way? So when suddenly countries are in the position where they want to create AI technology, it becomes a different conversation, because the responsibility of driving governance is not only the Microsoft or our competitors, it is only the country's responsibility. So we're working with them closely now to make sure first we educate them about how the technology works, where they can put guardrails, where they can put technical guardrails and legal guardrails. And I think I am very confident that countries like UAE, they're going to lead the way. Other countries are going to learn from what the UAE and other advanced countries are doing it. And they're going post that to take this and fine-tune for them. But the reality is that there are some countries that are going to lead the way, no question. And from what I see today, the UAE is in a leadership position.
It's very interesting. We'll come to the UAE in a second there, but there's a couple of other things I'd like to unpack first. You've mentioned guardrails a few times already, along with some of the challenges already associated with AI, whether they be the ethical, privacy, and so on. How does the technology sector, Microsoft specifically, go around building trust with the public and with consumers around artificial intelligence and its use cases?
Yeah, very, very good. So we're addressing it in two ways. The first way, we're making sure that along with our partner OpenAI, when those models or applications are being released, they're very respectful of, as I say, privacy, security. And if you take, for example, all of our first-party products, what we call copilots, they have very strong guardrails around what users can do and what users cannot do. Even if you take the OpenAI applications, ChatGPT, or even if Sora that was released 2 days back, there's lots of guardrails being implemented there. Now, what those guardrails mean, they give examples to other organizations that they want to develop technology on using them as an example to implement them in their tech that they're implementing it. So we're leveraging our tech knowledge to educate our customers and our partners on how they can do the same, to put similar guardrails on tech they're developing. I spoke about AI Tutor in the UAE, I can speak about many others. So we're leveraging this knowledge to make sure our customers, they do the same. We're also spending lots of time working with our customers and partners around educating them about AI. And I think this is extremely critical, like a new technology. There is a lot of, I would say, myth about AI. So we're spending lots of time training and educating our customers and partners, by the way, at all levels. And fascinating, this is the first time in my 25 years of career that a new tech comes, and suddenly the first people who are saying we want to know about it are CEO and boards. We're spending so much time with chairmen and CEO and boards educating them about AI before even we get to the tech people, which tells me the mindset is changing, because AI is not a tech transformation. This is a mindset transformation on how do we have to look at what we do in every single thing. We need to start thinking for every single function we want to do. Before we do it, can AI make us better in doing it? So if I am a business person, can I ask a specific copilot to give me the right insight before I make that decision? And Copilot will give me way better insight at that thing. It applies to your job, it applies to every single job. So educating and training our customers is going to be key. We're even now starting to develop curriculum, both for our customers to use it, but we're hoping that we have curriculum for universities, because we want universities and academia to lead the way as well. So a combination of knowledge transfer and training and education is what we're now doing in our engagement to make sure that our customers are also getting the best practice at implementing those guardrails.
Okay, so obviously you've already mentioned a few different sectors there, education, for instance, universities, but maybe let's get a little bit more specific here about how AI can impact sectors. Which industries here in the UAE do you see primed for transformation through the use of artificial intelligence?
Look, the fact of life is AI is going to impact each and every industry. But there are industries that are very, I would say, they can be early winners from that. And those are industries, one, that they have a large amount of data. Two, that they have complex problems that the world did not sort out before. The first one is going to be healthcare. Healthcare is going to be the biggest beneficiary of AI, because healthcare have tremendous amount of data available. all the way from patient data to medical records to medicine data. And healthcare have severe problems that have not been sorted out for years. And I think AI is giving that opportunity to get us few steps in solving some of the world's very complex diseases by giving us insight and linking some of the narrative about of those diseases. So I am very optimistic about what AI can do to healthcare in the next months and years to come. The second one is financial services. Again, another industry that has a tremendous amount of data behind it. Financial crime has been on the rise. It has always been a big challenge. And AI is going to be a tremendous opportunity to help combat financial crime. But also, how do we rethink financial service in terms of offering and products? Then you have the typical industries like retail, where I think we're going to rethink what customer journey and customer experience is. But again, every single industry, I could think of oil and gas and energy, and I think what AI can do on clean energy transformation. Education, we spoke about it and how it can transform education. Anywhere where you need to think of productivity, anywhere where you need to think of solving large problems, anywhere where you need to think about rethinking a customer journey in an industry that have large amount of data, AI will play a big role.
It's very interesting. I mean, the whole artificial intelligence sector sounds almost like a modern day gold rush in terms of every industry is being impacted, every worker is being impacted. How do you place artificial intelligence as a technological development on the scale of global change and how it's going to impact the way the world operates? Must be a major transformation for the future.
Yeah. Look, I mean, again, it's by no interest if you open any business channel TV today, or you open any political channel TV, global, local, the amount of times you hear the word artificial intelligence is exceptional. I don't think any technology in the history have gone through that. So that tells you that everyone understands that this is a transformational technology. And even though we're early days, the good thing is that everyone is trying to lead, and competition is always good. Competition between companies, competition between countries, competition between people is always good because it's going to push all of us to the front line. And again, as I said, this is not a technology transformation. This is a mindset transformation. So governments, countries, organizations that are going to win are the ones that are going to focus on people change management before they focus on technology change management. And we're clearly seeing it. People need to think differently. Almost we need to re-educate our people to how do they think about their jobs, whatever their job is. But the good thing is that there is tremendous amount of attention into it. We started already see some early results that are pretty impressive. I mean, if I only think about the number of innovations that came from the day ChatGPT came in November 2022, we're talking about almost now 15 months. I'm blown away. Of almost every day, every week, you have something new, and something new that is multiplied by 10 and 100 and by 1,000. ChatGPT came in 2022. Our co-pilots as the first product, they started to come over the past few months, and we've almost have co-pilot for Office 365 for productivity, for GitHub for development, for sales, etc. Up till yesterday, Sora, the level of advancement is exceptional. I mean, if you're a developer today, it's insane to be a developer. It's amazing because suddenly all the boring part of a developer of rebuilding things from scratch that lose 50-60% is gone in a click of a button, and you focus on the really more advanced stuff. So I think there are new opportunities for a lot of sectors. But I see the attention, I see the focus, I see the commitment. The good thing is that we are having head of state speaking about AI. I don't think I have had head of state speaking about specific technologies for a long time, which tells me that that level of attention cannot but move the world forward.
So you've mentioned a few times already now the challenge of shifting people's mindsets, that people transformation. Is that the biggest challenge organizations face when it comes to implementing AI?
Yes, today this is the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge because, suddenly you're asking people to get out of their comfort zone and rethink how they do stuff. In other perspective, you're asking CEOs and CXOs to think of first data before anything else. And second, that they need to accept that there is a co-pilot in whatever their job is that can give them better insight for them to make better decisions. And that's a major cultural changes when those people, they were used to making decisions before without checking anything. So there is definitely a mindset shift that needs to happen, and it starts at the top. And we're seeing organizations that are making progress are organizations where the AI transformation is owned by the chairman and CEO and the board. That's where organization is going to make are going to make progress. And hence there's a new training that needs to be given to the people around how do they leverage data and what AI can help them. And that notion that they will be a co-pilot for everything. They'll be a co-pilot for a finance person to get more meaning of finance, for a doctor to be able to do a surgery in a better way, for a pharmacist to have a better prescription, for me to make better people and businesses, for everyone. There will be a co-pilot that have access to almost unlimited amount of data that can operate at a scale that is unimaginable and can give me real-time insight to make decisions way better than relying on all kind of just basic analytical data. And that will require a mindset shift. Now, the good thing is, given the visibility about AI, everyone is curious about how do we do that. So I think now we're trying to work with all of those organizations to almost educate them on a daily basis to equip them into this. But there's no question, organizations that are going to embrace that cultural shift, they're going to come across winning.
How is Microsoft helping solve that challenge, though?
So as I said, we're doing few things. First, we are making sure that we're bringing best practices from organizations that are succeeded to other organizations. And when we sit with boards and CEOs, we're telling them in your industries, there's organization X are able to make those steps because of that's what they've done. This is the training they've done to their employees. That's the KPI they put to their executives. So we're bringing that know-how from around the world to organizations that are requiring or needing that success. We're also building curriculum both for training and for academia in order to put this into everybody's training programs, because as I said, training people is going to be key in helping them shifting mindset, because you can only shift your mindset when you are better equipped and understanding what is this thing we're talking about. So when we train people about what is AI, how they can use it, then their ability to shift their mindset is going to be much better. As I said, early days, but we're doubling down and we're focusing in every conversation I'm having with every CEO, chairman, board to say, this is not a technology transformation. This is a cultural transformation, a mindset transformation. Start there. If you're able to embrace it, technology is going to be much easier to change the world.
Last question. I did promise we'd come back to it. On the UAE has stated goals of becoming a global tech hub across a few different verticals, whether it be the metaverse, artificial intelligence, Web 3.0 technologies. What is your view on the UAE as a tech hub? You've mentioned it a little bit earlier as well, and on the role that the authorities here are playing in pushing that challenge forward.
Look, there's no question that we're seeing a tremendous leadership in the UAE on that scale. Basically, there has been multiple announcements that the UAE wants to be an AI nation. And we're seeing some steps that I think the world can learn from. First, this is first country in the world with a Minister of Artificial Intelligence. Nobody did this before. We have AI councils at the local emirate level, one in Dubai, one in Abu Dhabi, that is headed by the highest level of authority. So that shows a level of commitment that is exceptional. We're also thinking ahead of everyone around the fact that UAE doesn't want to be a country that only consume AI. They want to be a country that create AI and export it to the world. What organizations like Group 42 are doing, and the partnership that we're having between us as Microsoft and Group 42, falls in that direction, where you have suddenly an organization called Group 42 that is a UAE-based organization that are going to produce new AI tech, whether in healthcare, whether in energy, or in other industries. And it's going to be leveraged in the UAE, but also in other countries. So not only there is commitment at the highest level, there's execution capabilities that are also very special. We're seeing government entities, private organization entities competing with each other on who's going to be the first, and that's amazing. So I think as a representative of Microsoft in the UAE, and honestly as the representative of UAE in Microsoft, I can tell you that when I talk to my colleagues around the world, I feel very proud of what the UAE is doing. I think a lot of the stories that are coming from the UAE, including the story of the Ministry of Education, was discussed in Davos by our CEO at a global scale. So I think there's no question that the UAE today is in the leadership position. And with the momentum and commitment, I'm very confident that the UAE can lead or can be at least one of the world leaders when it comes to AI innovations.
And on that positive note, Naim, it only exists for me to thank you for joining us here today. Thank you very much.
Again, thank you very much for having me.